No one who is alive today had ever experienced a true pandemic. And I'm hoping that now that this is over, people are going to, recognize that some serious errors were made and not repeat those. That's the best you can get out of it.
So what do you tell those people?
Vote Republican. That's what a lot of them are going to do anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Joe Rogan may finally have gotten red-pilled. He calls on all Americans to vote Republican in November in order to protect our freedoms. We're going to take a look at exactly what Rogan said and why he said it. We're going to find out how a record number of voters have already made the shift over to the GOP. And make sure you stick with me to the very end of this video when I'll reveal why Joe Rogan may indeed be finally making that switch himself. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. It's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe. But before we begin, gang, as you know, the time has arrived. My movie, The Return of the American Patriot, The Rise of Pennsylvania, is now available for pre-sale at a discounted price by clicking on the link below. And the best part is when you purchase this movie, you have the opportunity to join me and thousands of other patriots in my brand new community-owned locals, where together we're standing up against woke culture in a censor-free environment. There we've got special bonus content from myself, from my team, and even Senator Doug Mastriano and other guests. The movie will be released on September 15th, but pre-purchase it now to get exclusive discounts, bonus content, and best of all, stand up against the woke mob as a courageous patriot. Make sure to click on that link below or go to the Return of the American Patriot.com. All right, let's dive right in here. Joe, take it away.
No one who is alive today had ever experienced a true pandemic. And I'm hoping that now that this is over, people are going to recognize that some serious errors were made and not repeat those. That's the best you can get out of it.
So what do you tell those people?
Vote Republican. That's what a lot of them are going to do anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, more than 1 million people transferred over to the Republican Party, I think in 2021 alone. Find out what that number is. But, you look at guys like Ron DeSantis, who kept Florida open and had some pretty reasonable policies in terms of, like, what to do about COVID. And, he mapped it out on television. He was, widely criticized for this, where he was saying, like, we need to protect our elders. We need to, make sure that medical care is available for those people, and everyone else. You should be able to do whatever you want to do and protect your freedom.
All right, so if you don't know who Rogan's talking to there, that's Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure most of you know him. He's, of course, the superstar NFL quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. He's super conservative, ultra MAGA guy, big Trump guy. He's awesome. And they're talking about the COVID vaccines, which Rodgers famously declined to get. It was actually... well, I was going to say if you can believe it, but obviously we can. It was very controversial in the NFL. Similar to what's going on right now with my personal favorite tennis player, the Serbian great Novak Djokovic, who's currently being banned from playing the U.S. Open because Joe Biden is so concerned about the safety of Americans when it comes to letting in people who are unvaxxed into our country. All the while, of course, tens of thousands of illegal immigrants are crossing the southern border every single day, welcomed by that very same bumbling Biden. But I digress. Rodgers was never banned from playing, if I recall, but it was controversial nonetheless. So they're talking about all of this. They're addressing the draconian lockdown measures, particularly in blue states throughout the country, that absolutely crushed our economy, which was second to none, thank you, President Trump, before COVID. And they both agreed that we're all going to have to take a good hard look at what happened over the last couple of years and try to learn from it to make sure it never happens again. And so Rodgers basically asked Rogan, so what do you tell those people who suffered so much under those lockdowns and lost their livelihood? What should they do? And to everyone's shock, Rogan came out and you heard him and he said bluntly, vote Republican. And Rodgers started laughing. Did you notice that? I wonder if you thought Rogan was kidding, because as I'm sure many of you know, Rogan has hardly been shy about his disdain for the Republican Party. Rogan is, for lack of a better term, an apolitical fellow in the sense that he doesn't formally align with any political party. Rogan, as far as social issues are concerned, like abortion, same-sex marriage, and the like, he's very, very libertarian, and he shied away, explicitly so, from the more Christian traditionalist wing of the Republican Party. But here, he made it very clear that he believed that right now, strategically, in the name of freedom, everyone should be voting Republican. And he noted that people were already doing it. Right? Voters were already quite organically making the switch. And he cited an amazing statistic. He didn't cite the source, but we've got it here. He was clearly referring to analysis of voting data by the Associated Press, which found that of the 1.7 million voters who changed parties last year, an astonishing 2/3 switched the Republican Party. And what's so interesting is that that trend was almost universal throughout the nation. And that AP analysis was corroborated by a bombshell Gallup survey that was released in January this year that showed a dramatic shift in political preferences occurring in the American electorate all throughout the year of 2021. And the upshot of it all is that the Democrats began the year 2021 with a 9-point advantage over Republicans. 49% of the electorate identified as Democrats, while only 40% identified as Republicans. It was the highest lead that the Democrats had since the fourth quarter of 2012. But then, as the year went on, according to Gallup, there was an astonishing political transformation. That party gap completely and totally reversed, such that by the end of last year, the Republicans led the Democrats in terms of party identification, 47% to 42%. So the Democrats dropped 7 points, while the Republicans gained in support by 7 points, representing an overall 14-point shift in party affiliation. And here's how Gallup interpreted those findings. It was absolutely fascinating. Both the 9-point Democratic advantage in the first quarter and the 5-point Republican edge in the fourth quarter are among the largest Gallup has measured for each party in any quarter since it began regularly measuring party identification and leaning in 1991. The year 2021 was an eventful one in politics after a similarly eventful 2020 also saw major shifts in party preferences. In early 2021, Democratic strength reached levels not seen in nearly a decade. By the third quarter, those Democratic gains evaporate as Biden's job approval declined. The political winds continued to become more favorable to Republicans in the fourth quarter, giving the GOP an advantage over Democrats larger than any they'd achieved in more than 25 years. That's what Rogan is referring to here. Right now, the amount of voters that have switched to the GOP has resulted in the Republicans having an advantage over the Democrats not seen in over a generation, 25 years. It's an absolutely astonishing development, and it gets better. This voter identification shift is already transforming the political map. But before I forget, did you know that our good friend and amazing patriot Mike Lindell is now carrying patriotic coffee? Gang, as you can tell, I've been drinking literally bags of it, right? And I can't get enough. You're going to love it, and you're going to love having it delivered right to your front door. Mike's got a ton of great stuff at his new store, mystore.com. I'll put a link in the description for you to use code Turley to get 25% off the coffee and anything else you like at the store. So enjoy. All right, so one of the most astonishing developments in all of this is that the Democrats are, in point of fact, losing the state of Nevada, right? Right now, as we speak, Nevada Democrats are defecting in droves and becoming Republicans. The latest analysis found that Democrats have been losing registered voters at 3 times the rate of Republicans. This is an astonishing hemorrhaging of voters in that state. And again, notice you will never, ever, ever hear this in the lamestream media. The legacy media ignores this for obvious reasons. But this is a huge development. Democrats are defecting over to the Republican Party at a rate of 3-1 in comparison to the other way around, Republicans defecting over to the Democrats. We're seeing the same thing happening in Pennsylvania, where tens of thousands of Democrats across the state are formally switching parties so they can vote for the ultra-MAGA Doug Mastriano, who I believe Trump is going to be stumping for in Pennsylvania this weekend, along with Dr. Oz, by the way. Yeah, we got to get Dr. Oz over the finish line. Senator Fetterman would be a disgrace. All right. Oz is infinitely better than anything the Democrats are putting up there. So, as Rogan alluded to, we really are seeing a dramatic political paradigm shift happening right in front of our very eyes. And it's actually part of a larger phenomenon that scholars call de-alignment. Sometimes they call it realignment, right? Because it involves this mass phenomenon happening both in the U.S. and Europe, where voters are defecting in droves from one political party to another at a pace we just haven't seen in decades. And it's been going on for a few years now. Back in November of 2016, white working class voters, which keep in mind were the foundational voting constituency for the Democratic Party ever since the New Deal, since 1932. They defected en masse away from the Democrats and embraced the nationalist populist vision of Donald Trump. We're seeing the same thing with Latinos and black men who are flocking to the new ultra-MAGA GOP. Mayra Flores, the ultra-MAGA Republican candidate, she won her congressional race in a blowout in the second most Hispanic district in the nation, a district that hadn't voted for Republican in over a century. So all of this raises the question, if this massive voter realignment is happening all around us, could it be happening to Joe Rogan as well? Is Joe ready to join the ultra-MAGA movement once and for all? Well, time will tell. But what is clear is that there's never been a more likely time for him to do so than right now. As always, gang, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And make sure to check out my latest video I just uploaded on Trump absolutely being vindicated as the FBI affidavit completely bombs. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.